She had never wanted a human escort. Commander Lyra stood at the edge of the docking platform, watching the silver towers of the neutral city rise through the artificial mist. This city was supposed to be safe. It was built by ancient treaties, protected by laws older than most star empires. No weapons beyond light sidearms. No armies. No assassinations. That was the promise. Still, the High Council had insisted on assigning her protection. Not elite guards from her own people. Not trained sentinels bred for combat. They had chosen a single human. Lyra glanced sideways. He stood a step behind her, hands clasped calmly behind his back. His name was Elias. No titles. No visible armor. Just a dark travel coat and simple boots. His posture was relaxed in a way that annoyed her. This was the species everyone whispered about. The unpredictable ones. The ones who survived on death worlds and somehow turned hardship into stubborn pride. Lyra had seen the data files. She had read the reports, and still she felt disappointed. He looked ordinary. "Stay close," she said sharply, not bothering to hide her doubt. "This city is not as peaceful as it claims." Elias nodded once. Understood. That was it. No bravado. No argument. No offended pride. It irritated her more than defiance would have. They began walking through the wide transit corridor, glowing with soft blue light. Floating platforms drifted overhead. Delegates from dozens of species moved around them, their voices blending into a low hum. Lyra kept her senses alert. Her people could read subtle energy shifts, emotional disturbances in the air, and she felt something wrong almost immediately. The city was too quiet. Elias noticed it at the same time. His steps slowed, almost imperceptibly. His eyes moved, scanning reflections in polished walls, shadows near support pillars, the rhythm of the crowd. Lyra caught his glance. "You sense it too?" she asked. "Something feels staged," Elias replied calmly. "Crowds like this should be louder." Before she could respond, the corridor lights flickered. Just once. That was all it took. The first assassin moved fast, leaping from above with a blade aimed straight for Lyra's neck. She barely had time to react. Elias moved first. He stepped into her space and twisted one arm, snapping upward. There was a sharp crack as bone met force. The attacker collapsed midair, body hitting the floor hard and unmoving. Lyra froze. That should not have been possible. Before she could question it, the corridor exploded into chaos. Figures dropped from hidden ledges. Others emerged from behind false walls. 12 in total, all armed, all trained, all moving with lethal precision. Elias shoved Lyra backward. "Stay behind me." It was not a request. The second assassin fired a pulse weapon. Elias turned sideways, the blast grazing past his shoulder as he grabbed a fallen blade and hurled it with terrifying accuracy. The weapon pierced through armor and dropped its target instantly. A third came from the left. Elias closed the distance before the attacker could strike, driving an elbow into the chest, then twisting the arm until it snapped. He didn't pause to watch the body fall. Lyra backed away, heart racing. This was not escort behavior. This was battlefield dominance. 2 attackers rushed him together, coordinating their strikes. Elias met them head-on. He used one body as a shield, absorbing a shot meant for him, then slammed the shield into the second attacker with bone-crushing force. Another tried to flank him. Elias pivoted, kicked low, and sent the assassin crashing into a support pillar. The impact cracked the structure. Lyra watched in disbelief. Her people trained warriors from birth. They relied on reflexes, enhanced perception, energy weapons. Elias used none of that. He used timing, positioning, brutal efficiency. One assassin managed to slip past him. Rushing toward Lyra with a thin blade glowing red dot, Lyra raised her hand, preparing to release a defensive burst, but Elias was already there. He grabbed the attacker from behind, locked an arm around the neck and twisted sharply. The body went limp. He lowered it gently. Like setting down something fragile, only 3 remained. They hesitated now, that hesitation cost them. Everything Elias advanced. The first tried to retreat. Elias threw a broken piece of metal, striking the assassin's leg and dropping them to the ground. One clean strike followed. The second charged in desperation. Elias sidestepped and redirected the momentum, sending the attacker over the railing into the lower transit level far below. The last one stood frozen, weapon shaking. Elias stopped a few steps away. "Walk away," he said quietly. The assassin looked at the bodies, at the humans standing alone, breathing evenly, untouched by panic or fear. Then the assassin dropped the weapon and ran. Silence returned to the corridor. Lyra stood still, her mind struggling to process what she had just witnessed. 12 trained killers. Neutral city. No alarms yet, no security in sight, and one human escort standing calmly amid the aftermath. Elias turned to her. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "But I misjudged you." Gave a faint smile. "That happens a lot." Security finally arrived, too late to matter. Officials swarmed the scene, shocked at the scale of the failure. Lyra barely heard them. Her attention stayed fixed on Elias. Later, in a secured chamber high above the city, Lyra reviewed the footage. Every movement, every strike. Her advisors stood around her in stunned silence. "This should not be possible," one whispered. "He is unaugmented. Use no energy weapons," another said. "No combat armor." Lyra folded her hands. "Humans do not fight like us," she said slowly. "They do not rely on strength alone. They adapt. They improvise. They endure." She remembered Elias's calm voice, the way he positioned himself between her and danger without hesitation. He was willing to die first, she added. Not because of duty, because he chose to. That night, Lyra requested a private meeting. Elias entered the chamber and stood, respectfully, waiting. "Why did you volunteer for this assignment?" she asked. "Because it mattered," he replied. "Your survival affects more than one world, and because someone had to." "That is not an answer driven by gain," she said. He shrugged lightly. "Humans don't always need one." She studied him for a long moment. "You defeated 12 assassins alone," she said. "You showed restraint, mercy, and precision. You did not celebrate." Elias met her gaze. "Violence isn't something to celebrate. It's something to finish." Lyra felt something shift within her. The galaxy feared humans. Some underestimated them. Others banned them from certain systems. Now she understood. Why, it was not their weapons. It was their mindset. When the council reconvened days later, Lyra spoke with a new authority. She changed security protocols. She rewrote Escort classifications. Humans were no longer listed as auxiliary protectors. They were classified as last-line guardians. And Elias remained at her side, quiet as ever, watchful, unassuming, to the galaxy. He was just a human escort to Lyra. He was proof that some species did not need to be loud to be terrifying. They only needed to decide that someone under their protection would not fall. And once a human made that decision, 12 assassins were not nearly enough.